Om Shri Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Vinani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvi Shesha Shriyani Ashtata Deshatani Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasana Gaur Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna. So, session 5, Ishwar, knowledge of God from the Vedas, based on Srila Prabhupada's teachings, books. So, we look at these topics. Bhagavad Gita has 5 main topics. What are the main topics? Was it? No, the 5 main. Yeah, one is Ishwar, Jiva, yeah, Ishwar, Jiva, Prakriti, Kala, Karma. So these are 5 main topics. But this is one of the main topics. Actually, this is the main topic of the Veda, but we cannot understand it properly if we don't go through all those other topics. So we are beginning science of God and Vedas, Bhagavad Tattva Vijnana. So, question: why should we study about God? We are speaking about God. People are not knowing about God; they are knowing about their life. What is the point of studying about God? So, one is that everything is created, maintained, and destroyed by God. We want to know, because if we are living in a country, we want to know who's the president, who's the prime minister. So, we are living in this creation. We have to know who's there, who's doing everything, who's behind everything. That's one. And 2 is that since God is the root of all manifestations, so knowing Him enables us to know the whole manifestation. This is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita chapter 15, text 19. That by knowing God, we'll know everything. Therefore, He is the target. For intelligent people, they target to know Ishwar. And 3, knowing God leads to liberation. That's in Bhagavad Gita 4.9. This is the reason our target is to know God. If you go to so many other institutions, they teach so much other knowledge. But in ISKCON, we are just targeting the Supreme, knowledge of the Supreme. So, science of God in the Vedas. We know Vedas contain a lot of knowledge in all spheres, okay, including about God. Veda means knowledge, okay. In the Vedas, knowledge of God is presented scientifically. Okay, this is probably the only source of scientific presentation of God, because knowledge is presented normally of God in other places, not so scientifically. Okay, what do we mean by scientific presentation of God? Okay, we mean like this, that within Srimad Bhagavatam, actually Srimad Bhagavatam translates 2 beautiful signs of God, Shri Mad. Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam means in relation to Bhagavan. Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam. There in Srimad Bhagavatam there's a verse. Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam Uktasya Sangasya Jayate. That is in the second chapter of first canto. How one can know the science of God. So there it's given, is a whole process, but it begins with Nashta Praishavadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. By regular study of Srimad Bhagavatam, anything that is inauspicious in the heart disappears. All negativity. So now, in that series of verses in Srimad Bhagavatam explaining how to attain God, it's mentioned Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam. It doesn't say you know God, it says you know the science of God. God is presented scientifically in the Vedas, not through fear and not through sentiment or fanaticism, but scientific presentation. When we say science, what is that? In science, knowledge is presented systematically and a conclusion is reached through a transparent process. For example, if we say that we are going to make a salt, so we take acid and a base. If I do it, the result will be the same. If he does it, everyone does it, the result is the same because it's a science. It's a science. So, it's a fixed process that if you put an input, you get a result. So, the result is how to know God. The process is given to know God, scientifically presented. So, when a procedure is followed, result is reached. God is not presented sentimentally or fanatically, but we see like in Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna asked many questions. Krishna could have told Arjuna, you surrender to me or you burn in hell. He didn't. He said that, look, you have to surrender. Why should I surrender? Because you're a jeev, you're a soul. And there is concept of Maya. We are covered by Maya. Okay, what is this Maya? Explaining what is the Maya. The three modes. How to overcome Maya? By surrendering to me. How do we worship you? Systematically, it was presented. So Krishna explained Arjuna in great detail about the absolute truth. Arjuna asked many questions. So this is encouraged. We have to know God. We have to know Krishna. So, we didn't see that God is Krishna, but we have to know God systematically and we have to ask questions. Therefore, it's mentioned when we approach the Guru, that Vidhi Pranipadena Pariprashrena Sevaya. We approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead and then we render service and ask questions from the Guru. So then at the end of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna asked Arjuna, did you understand? Did you understand what I said? Krishna asked Arjuna. And in the Prabhupada writes that Krishna was ready to explain the whole Bhagavad Gita again to Arjuna. If he did not understand, he was ready to explain it because he wanted him to understand through intellect, intelligently. Because the most solid faith is that which is based on intellectual conviction. Faith can be based only on sentiment. Like, okay, so I'm born in this family, they are worshipping, so I'll worship. I'm from this country, we worship this God, like this. But if we are sure this is absolute truth, through intelligence, that Shraddha is very firm. Any kind of waves of this material world cannot shake it. Yes?
Yes, Prabhu, but on the side that you interact.
Yes, yes.
Possibly, we are also told that our senses are not perfect. We are not perfect. So, why I may think the level of intellect to surrender to God may not be sufficient.
Yeah, okay, good question. Because we are saying our senses are not perfect. Now I'm saying approach with your senses, your intelligence and all that. There should be a minimum level. Okay, just the very common example given is that somebody is going to buy gold. He should have some idea what is gold. Otherwise he'll be cheated. Some idea. So we want to approach God. We don't know God. We want to find God. But we should have some idea. How? Vedas, Bhagavad Gita, sadhus. We should have some idea what is God. Okay, so surrender, it doesn't happen suddenly. Surrender with we ask questions, we see, we ponder, and then we surrender more, then we are empowered more, we are given more knowledge. But we should have some idea. Some idea should be there. And finally, when you're going to surrender fully everything, by then you should be sure to, not only through question and answer, but it's pratyakshavadamam dharmyam. It says in chapter 9, text 2 of Bhagavad Gita, that we should be perceiving God. Then no one can cheat you. We are actually experiencing. An experience. We surrendered this much and we got this experience. We surrendered more, deeper experience. And practically, it says in chapter 6, Sukhena Brahma Samsparsham. We are in contact with Brahman, with the Supreme. Directly in contact. So then we can perceive this is correct. Okay, so in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna systematically presents it. Okay, and there's a verse here in Bhagavad Gita that knowledge of the field of activities and the knower of the activities, which means body and soul, is described by various sages in various Vedic writings, especially in Vedanta Sutra, and is presented with all reasoning as to cause and effect. Krishna is telling Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita in this verse that knowledge of the body and soul, Kshetra and Kshetragya, is presented with all reasoning. This is the way. So, Srila Prabhupada says about understanding God, that religion without philosophy is sentiment or even fanaticism, and philosophy without religion is mental speculation. Okay, so let's try to understand this. Now in the West we have philosophers. They philosophize, so many, long list of them. They keep philosophizing, but they don't have any scripture. They don't have any basis. So that's just mental speculation. What comes in your mind, you'll say that. And some of them have the idea that if I have ganja, then I get deeper realization and I just speak more. So this is not. This is just speculation from their mind. Okay, that is extreme. Other extreme is that religion, but without philosophy. You have to believe this. Yeah, but why? No, you have to believe it. Yeah, but why should I believe? What is the basis? There is no basis. You have to believe it. So that is religion without philosophy. Philosophy has to be there. Otherwise, we cannot have a firmness. Then if someone challenges our faith, we become violent because we can't philosophically defeat or sentiment. So religion should have proper understanding of God should be through religion and philosophy, which is that is the perfect. Okay, so listen to 3.3. So in conclusion, knowledge of God is presented scientifically in Vedas, particularly in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Systematically presented. Okay, our whole topic today is about God, Ishvara. Yeah, question.
Can you give an example with regards to any specific example with regards to philosophy and religion? Any.
Okay, I can't, but what I do is I repeat what I was saying in a different way. Philosophy and religion. You see, like in the, let's say Bhagavad Gita.
Yes.
Someone is born in a family, they worship Krishna. So someone can say, I'm born in this family, we worship Krishna. So that is sentiment. Sentiment is not a bad thing.
No,
I'm not even saying you're saying.
Context.
Yeah.
I just want to understand.
Okay. So now I'm saying that someone is born in a family and they worship Krishna. So out of sentiment he's worshipping. Now sentiment isn't a bad thing. But if you say purely on sentiment, I have my religious faith is based because I'm from this country or this family, that faith is not strong because we can't reason it. So in the mind, intelligence will have so many options how to enjoy in this world, what to do, and we cannot, when those ideas come, we are not able to convince our mind, the intelligence cannot convince that no, we have to worship God. No, but we have to do this and this and this and that. So we did not understand philosophically, but we just accepted, okay, Krishna is supreme through sentiment. Okay, but the same person, anyway we worship Krishna, but they study philosophy also. Philosophically, we understand that Krishna or whoever we worship is this is the thing, this is why we have to worship, this is the position of God, and this and that. And so, by understanding that, whenever some other doubt comes in our mind, through our mind or someone else, we are able to refute it. Because our philosophy is strong.
No, but that isn't a conviction.
Philosophy brings about conviction. Philosophy brings, what is it?
With regards to this, none of this is in a negative way.
No, this is the questioning, it's not about that. You can ask anything.
So, my conviction that what is written in the Bhagavad Gita in the scripture is very strong. As an example.
Okay. That means philosophically you're fixed. Technically, that means that.
Is that what
Philosophy.
your thoughts are, or others' thoughts?
No, because you see, you're saying
Conviction and philosophy is two different
no, it's conviction is born about by proper philosophical conclusion. You see,
Conviction and faith are also intertwined.
conviction brings about faith. I'm convinced. Now I have
It's one and
faith.
the same, different names.
Not necessary. I may have faith.
But my conviction is so strong.
No, but someone may not have conviction. He has faith, just that, what do you believe? I believe this. I'm putting my faith in this. Why? Because I was born in this country, with this family.
So now you're saying conviction and philosophy are...
Okay, I'll go through it. When we say conviction, it comes from a word in English, convince. Is it?
Yes.
Okay, so one is convinced. And when you're convinced, then I'm able to put my faith in something. I'm convinced. Otherwise, I will not be.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
All of that.
Yes.
Philosophy
Okay.
and how we Hindus
Okay.
that.
So
that's your homework.
that's
your homework. Whenever you can, we'd love to hear an example.
about conviction and philosophy.
Philosophy, an example with regards to Hindu. Whenever.
Okay, but I'll add something now itself. You see, Bhagavad Gita or the Shastras. If we study those Shastras and understand this is why we worship, this is the personality, this is how he appears, this is all the details about him. So now I got convinced. Okay, now I have strong conviction. Now that I have conviction, I'm ready to put my faith in this person. This.
Definitely.
Okay?
No, that.
That is part. So what is the... Sorry? Philosophy. Philosophy means...
In regards to...
Conviction?
No, with regards to any example.
Okay.
That could be regarded. So like, for example, where at the beginning, my understanding is far away. And it's not as deep. The way Lord Krishna says to us, you do whatever it is you're doing
Niyatam Kuru Karma.
without thinking about the risk or reward.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
The fruit to nature or to me.
Give the fruit to me.
Yeah.
Just give up the... Just do the action.
Yeah.
Without being attached to the fruit.
The philosophical aspect would be that in your day-to-day life, you do everything without thinking of risk or reward. So that becomes philosophy, right?
No, you're talking about applying application in daily life. Okay. Philosophy means the technical explanation why I have to do or believe something. So, for example, Bhagavad Gita has deep philosophy, and there's a conclusion, but it has a deep philosophy. There's a lot of discussion. But now, necessarily, other religious systems may not really have philosophy. It just had some codes. It's faith-based.
Yes.
Faith-based. Now, faith is also in the Gita and other things, but that faith is not based on sentiment. It's based on philosophical conviction. And that's why one can have a deep level of surrender to God and belief because of the deep philosophy which convinces us through 18 chapters. Okay, but we can talk more later about that. Okay. Okay, fine. Okay, now the whole topic here is about God. Okay, Ishwar. Ishwar means in Sanskrit controller. So in Bhagavad Gita, the 5 main topics, one is Ishwar. It's not that in one section we study another section, but the whole Gita has 5 threads, themes which are running through which we understand all these topics. Okay, so God. Now to understand the concept of God, first let's look at misconceptions. Now I'm going to speak here about many topics. All of you are from diverse kind of understanding, background, and whatever. So we can discuss. Okay, I'm simply presenting what is here in the Shastra. Okay, any doubt we can also speak about it, you can ask me. Okay, now before we begin, when we speak about God, because so many opinions in this world, in this planet, in this room, there will be different opinions. But God understanding should be based on Shastra, should be based on scripture. Okay, because I'm not perfect. I can come up with anything. But Shastra is perfect. And if we take shelter of a guru or sadhu, he should have taken shelter of Shastra. Therefore, Vedanta Sutra says, Shastra Yonitvat. Shastra is the source of everything. There should be a Shastric, scriptural basis for our understanding and practice. Okay, so now in the Shastra, in Srimad Bhagavatam, real religious principles are enacted by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although fully situated in the mode of goodness, even great rishis who occupy topmost planets cannot ascertain real religious principles, nor can the demigods or the leaders of Siddhaloka, to say nothing of asuras, ordinary human beings, Vidyadas or Charanas. In essence, it's saying, Dharman tu sakshat bhagat pranitana. Religion is given by God. No person can make up a religion for society and say. Religion has to be given by God. Okay? Comment, knowledge about God must be gotten from Shastra. Anyone speaking about God must give the reference where he got the knowledge, or it shouldn't be accepted. This is important. Why we are speaking so fixed when we speak about God? Because at some point, we are all going to change our body. Dehantara prapti. What is that? I'm using a poetic technical word for death, basically. So by then we have to know God. And we can't take a risk that he said this or that. We have to be sure and surrender and get perfection. So now, if the person is speaking with reference, we accept it. Okay? Misconceptions of God or misunderstanding usually almost always due to not taking knowledge from Shastra. Generally nowadays, what the Hindu community or Sanatana Dharma don't really read Shastra much. So there's so many people presenting things which we just accept. But actually, if you open Gita and Bhagavatam, there's some totally different idea of what is the reality, what is the actual principles of Sanatana Dharma. Okay, now before we speak about conception of God, let's look at misconception. Okay.
Before one gets, how will one get conviction of the Shastra before you have started reading the Shastra?
Okay, good point. And that is in the Veda itself. That was our section 1. Okay, in the Vedas, there is explanation why we should take shelter of Veda and not ourselves, our mind, or my best friend. He's saying something, should I listen to him? No, I should listen to the Veda. Why? Because of Pramana, the concept of Pramana. We spoke about Pratyaksha, Anuman, Shabda. So Pratyaksha means knowledge gathered from my senses. Anuman means I gather the knowledge, then I process it. Shabda means I accept as false. So now what we said is, Pratyaksha means knowledge that I can just get from my senses. I can trust it for small things, like is it hot or cold or night or day. But things which are beyond my experience, example, what happens after death? That is beyond my experience. Or what is beyond this universe? That is beyond my experience. For that, we must accept another source of knowledge, even though we cannot ascertain it. Do you understand this principle, what I said?
Yeah, I understand, but...
No, so I'm coming to the point that if we are limited, we must accept a source of knowledge beyond us, which we cannot even prove. We want knowledge of God, or let's say we want knowledge what happens after death. I'll never be able to prove that. So I have to accept it. Now the question is which one to accept. In this day and age, practically we either follow science or scripture. Now if you follow science, you can. But it's based on people's senses, which is not perfect. Shastra, we take it as true. But you may say, how shall I awaken faith in it? How do I know it's true? But we already dealt with that. You cannot know. We cannot know. For example, I gave example also before. Which country is west of Japan? Is there any country? Japan is there. What is the country west of Japan? Huh?
US.
No, that's east. West. I just want to make a point. So I want to ask a simple question.
China.
Huh? Okay, China. You think? Okay, so China. Are you sure? 100%. It's there. Yeah. So he's saying sure, and he'll say sure, and we'll all say yes, we are sure. But no one has been to Japan. No one has been to China. But we accepted that as knowledge. We're not questioning. Now I'm asking a question, he gives the answer. Accepting this is correct. This is called Shabda. I have to accept an authoritative knowledge source. It's a choice whether I'm going to accept that Atlas, science, or Veda. So now what we are saying is Veda, we, Sanatana Dharma, we accept Veda as Praman. Can you prove it? No, but you can't prove anything. We cannot prove that Japan west. China is west of Japan. You get the point?
Yes, I get the point. But okay, you meet someone who doesn't know anything.
Yeah.
I mean, you explain this for me, you just say no, I don't know that.
No, but this is called Praman. We have to go through. Even that we now are basing everything on Shastra. The first session was on this. And even in Srila Prabhupada's Ishopanishad is Shruti, part of Yajurveda. So in the introduction, this is what Prabhupada discusses. Introduction of Ishopanishad, he discusses Pramana and why we have to accept Veda and Shruti. In America and the West, Prabhupada didn't quote shlokas much. He spoke on principles. In India, you see, he quoted so many shlokas because they accepted Shastra. But among his disciples, at some point, we had to accept Shastra. There was his disciple named Purushottam. So when they were landing on the moon, Prabhupada was making fun. They're not landing on the moon. This is a hoax. He couldn't take it. He said, no, they're landing on the moon. It's not possible. So he left the movement. Then Prabhupada said, okay, he didn't accept me, but at least he should accept Shastra. You don't have to accept me, but Shastra is saying that. So you're saying we meet a common person. How to explain them? This is what we have to do. Actually, you cannot awaken deep faith in God till you accept Shastra. Otherwise, there will be so many mental speculations and victims of their mind and other people's mind. It's a very important. You have to accept this, explain what I said. And they have to accept Shastra. Okay, now, misconceptions of God. We'll go through them. There are quite a few here. Number one, some say there is no God. Comment? How is the sun rising and setting on time? Not coming too near the earth or too far. How is photosynthesis happening? Digestion, evaporation, condensation, child development in the womb and birth. No God. Just everything is happening on its own by chance. Not intelligent. Insane person. Okay, there is no God. Another one. We are all God. You are God, I am God. So why are you looking for God? The people say. Comment. If you are God, then why do you go to dentist, doctor? God has a toothache. Why do we know? Why do we not know? Or why do we forget that we are God? Yes, you are God. I'm looking for God. No, you are God. Why don't I know that? I know God. I should know it. Now, what I understand, most of you would be, because this is not an Eastern problem. This is mostly a Western problem. We are God, yeah, this happens in the East.
For the first one, but there was a past tense that there's one where Krishna had a headache and to get the cure, he took the test from
Don't go this way.
Yes, I guess you can have occasionally. It's part of my pastimes.
Yeah, Divya Leela.
No, I mean,
If he says it's his Divya Leela, means he's on the spiritual platform, then he should not be doing sense gratification. But he will be attached. Whoever's seen that is Divya Leela. Because Leela is on the spiritual platform, he's free from material contamination. Yeah, you got the point. Someone may say, this is my Leela, like Krishna had his Leela, like you were saying. When you talk about Leela, it means it's a spiritual thing. So on the spiritual platform, there is no material guna. Krishna doesn't do sense gratification. Doesn't go and see the movie. So if a person is not on the spiritual platform, then that is not a Leela. It is his material activity, not spiritual. We are all God. God is creator, maintainer, and destroyer. So how did you do it? You say, I'm God. Okay, how did you create? You have to explain. Another one, you can become God. There's one person right now in India. I'm not here to show you I'm God. I'm here to show you you are God. You can become God. Okay, then either you're God or not. You cannot become. Soul is soul, God is God. Because God is most powerful and supreme. So are you and I all powerful and supreme? Then why did we have to become God instead of always being God? Philosophical arguments. These are all in Prabhupada's books. God is everywhere. Why you went to the temple? Why you worshiping Krishna? God is everywhere. Comment? Yes, his influence is everywhere, but ultimately there is a person whose influence is everywhere. Example, in a country, the influence of the government is everywhere, but ultimately there's a personality. Energy is not independent. Energy is energetic. Yes, God is everywhere. He's maintaining everything. That's his energy. So whose energy? We have to find a person. Okay? God is a light or energy. Some say God is a light, is energy. Also, energy is not independent. Shaktiman. Someone there's energy. Now who's possessing that energy? That's the question. If we say God is energy. God created everything and is maintaining everything. Light cannot do this. If you say creation, light created. No, it's a person with intelligence and ability. Okay, there are many gods. Comment. Actually, definition of God means creator, maintainer. Janmadi Asya. If you see the Sanskrit, the Vedas, they say creator, maintainer, destroyer. It refers to a single, not plural. In our experience, even though there are many people, governing leader is one example. Many ministers, one prime minister. Many cricket players, one captain. A whole army of soldiers, but one captain. Leader is always one for everything, otherwise it can't work. And Bhagavad Gita says repeatedly that God is one, and says who that is. It's spoken in a singular. Aham sarvasya prabhavo, mata sarvam pravartate. We're going to visit all this in detail again. Okay, some say we cannot know God. They're known as agnostics, mostly in the West. That it's not possible for us to know God. So Srila Prabhupada would reply to them that you cannot know. Don't speak for me. I know. Then he used to say, Shastra tells us about God. We have full knowledge. You don't know. Then accept my knowledge. They'll say, no, that's wrong. No, you don't know. Don't say it's wrong. You don't know. I know I'm living, so you have to accept. These are Prabhupada's arguments against these different people, philosophically. God is our imagination. Some say, like Richard Dawkins, you heard of him? The greatest atheist on the planet. Very intelligent. Richard Dawkins in London, England. He said God, he wrote about God delusion. He said this is imagination. People made up the concept of God. Okay, so now you say we made it up, but every single culture and country accepts God. China, Arabia, Africa, Europe. I'm talking before all this modernization happened. Everyone accepted God. So is it everyone's imagination at once? There's so many songs, dramas, sculptures, poetry, literature glorifying God all over the world in every culture. We can't negate this. In fact, theists are majority, atheists are minority. People who believe God are majority in all over this planet. So we don't have to explain, they have to explain why you think God is not. Some say this person is God, that man is God, because he does some miracle. Okay, people claiming to be God, but we need to see whether it's in Shastra, because all avatars are written in the Shastra. Okay, and another thing, God does not get old, disease, and get on a wheelchair. That does not happen. He didn't happen to create all the avatars that we know. Okay. Finally, to know God, we must look at Shastra. We mentioned that point. Okay, now we're coming to one important point in understanding. In the Veda, there is some confusion which leads, let's come to it. Question. Different Puranas declare different personalities as supreme. Okay, now this is the issue, because we have Sanatana Dharma. Some are worshipping Lord Shiva, some Vishnu, some Krishna, some Ganesh, some Durga Devi. Okay? And they'll give reference. They'll give references. It's there in the Vedas. Okay? Example, Shiva Purana says Shiva is supreme. Vishnu Purana says Krishna. Why is there contradiction? And which one to follow? How to understand it? Some of you may know the answer. People have different levels of consciousness, so need to engage differently. There are different levels of consciousness and different guna. So the Vedas cater for everyone. Okay, now we are looking at the Puranas. There are 18 major Puranas. Puranas are knowledge of, it's called Smriti. Okay, this is knowledge of the 4 Vedas. What are the 4 Vedas? Rig, Sam, Yajur, Atharva. This is very deep. To understand Shruti is difficult. Even the language, it takes 12 years to understand Sanskrit properly. In order to properly understand and read through the Shastra, through those books. And we are not really advised to go through. Shastra does not allow, unless one has taken Diksha, and second Diksha, Brahmin Diksha, because it means someone would have come on Sattva Guna. Only then he'll have the presence of mind to understand that technical knowledge. Otherwise he'll misunderstand. And therefore, later, after the Shruti came Smriti. Smriti means knowledge of the Veda, but written in a more simple way. And that is in the Puranas, Itihas. Itihas is like Mahabharata and Ramayana. Puranas are these 18. There are 18 major Puranas and 18 minor Puranas. Major Purana means Puranas which discuss 10 topics. Creation, there's a whole list of topics that Puranas will discuss. Creation, science of God, liberation, how God is maintaining everything, structure of the universe. Okay? And minor Puranas only discuss 5 topics. So now the major Puranas, which mostly today people are worshipping different personalities, they base their knowledge on the Puranas. Out of these 18 major Puranas, they are divided according to guna. There's a verse which we will go over just now. So these Puranas are divided 6 Sattvic, 6 Rajasic, and 6 Tamasic. Okay. Now, how do we know this claim that I'm saying that there are different gunas? Where is it? It's spoken by Lord Shiva. Because if we study different Puranas, Lord Shiva is engaged in speaking to Parvati. She's always asking philosophical questions and he's answering. And that even in Srimad Bhagavatam, the discussion is there. But now in Padma Purana, there's a shlok that comes. This is in Padma Purana, Uttarakhand, because they're different khands. Within Uttarakhand, chapter 236, shlok number 18 to 21, properly giving reference. I have to make it clear. And this is the verse. Lord Shiva says to Parvati, O beautiful lady Parvati, know that the Vishnu, Narad, Bhagavat, Garud, Padma and Varaha Puranas are Sattvic. The Brahman, Brahma Vaivarta, Markandeya, Bhavishya, Vaman and Brahma Puranas are Rajasic. And Matsya, Kurma, Linga, Shiva, Skanda and Agni Puranas are Tamasic. Okay, now we heard of these terms before, Tamasic, Rajasic. Okay, so, yes.
Matsya is an incarnation of
Vishnu.
Kurma. So why is it Tamasic?
Matsya is a fish incarnation of Vishnu.
Kurma is Turtle.
Yeah. No, it's not like that. These are teachings which came at that time. I think Matsya was the first Purana.
So on what basis are they in those modes?
Okay, yeah, I'm coming to that next. Okay, these are the modes. This is the reference, Uttarakhand 36, 18 to 21. Okay, now we understand that these are the gunas. Okay, Sattva gun is elevating, Rajasic is binding, Tamasic is governing. So, his question: why are Puranas classified according to three gunas? But on what basis? It's the basis of the content. The content of the Puranas, Sattvic, Tamasic, Rajasic. Okay, so why are Puranas classified according to three gunas? People are not the same quality. Puranas were given, but everyone is at a different level. Some are more Sattvic, Rajasic, Tamasic. So they have to be elevated differently. And so the content of the Puranas is different. Okay? Puranas will facilitate their desires and elevate them. If you tell some people that you give up meat, no, we cannot. But so there are religious systems where you can have meat, but they're at a lower level and it will be difficult and you cannot really get liberated. But they have to be engaged. Everyone has to be engaged. Okay? Sattvagun, we said knowledge, free from sins, conditioned by sense of happiness. Rajagun, Tamagun, they each have their qualities. Okay, so each of the Puranas, the classification have different functions. Okay, now this is what the functions are. First of all, before that, we have to understand about the Guna avatars. The Guna avatars are explained. There are 6 kinds of avatars. Guna avatars are taking care of the gunas. So we understand from Srimad Bhagavatam that Vishnu is presiding over Sattvagun, Brahma is presiding over Rajagun, and Lord Shiva is presiding over Tamagun. Okay, but we also, then in Srimad Bhagavatam in chapter 3, follow in 3rd canto, first canto, chapter 3, it's saying, although we have the 3 Guna avatars, but actually Vishnu is controlling everything through them. Okay, now, classification. Sattvic Puranas elevate and liberate. Shri Shri Radha Gopinath ki jai, Shri Shri Krishna Bhagavan ki jai, Radha Gopinath ki jai. Sattvic Puranas elevate and liberate. They have content, it's Sattvic content. Okay? Rajasic Puranas, they keep us in material existence because people who are attracted to enjoy this material world, there are so many yajnas and prayers by which they can enjoy and get wealth and get good progeny, get position. It's there in those Puranas, and that system of worship. Now the Tamasic Puranas, it keeps us in ignorance. The people who are attracted to intoxication or meat eating, etc. So they tell, like in worship of Durga, that on Amavasya, full moon night, you can slaughter a goat. Not necessarily at night, but on Amavasya day, you can slaughter a goat and say a mantra, then offer it to Durga, then you can eat. And so people will be attracted to that. And so now, in each of the different Puranas, they will say different people are superior. In the Tamasic Puranas, it says Lord Shiva is supreme. And people are attracted to that form of worship. They will practice that. Rajasic Puranas, people who want to enjoy this world, they don't have an idea about liberation too much. So information will be given how to enjoy, but for those who want to elevate and liberate from this material world, Sattvic Puranas are there. They say Krishna is supreme. Okay, some say Krishna, Vishnu, but actually it's the same person. 4 hands, 2 hands. And then they have their avatars. They're all on Vishnu Tattva God category. Rajasic Puranas, Lord Brahma and demigods. In Tamasic Puranas, Lord Shiva, Kali, Durga, etc. So this is the reason why now everyone is engaged. We see in Vedic culture, everyone is engaged in a different way. And actually, no Acharya is going to fight with that. We also don't argue. Everyone is there attracting, but the knowledge is spoken and that one wants to liberate. If someone wants to come on this platform, this is the knowledge, this is the path. Okay, any questions?
If the Puranas that we're going to anyways, like for example, Tamasic Puranas, anyways going to keep the people in ignorance, why was it made in the first place?
No, it attracts people in that mode, but built into it is elevating principles, knowledge, and through the practice of that, they will elevate.
Okay, so basically it's all elevating, but then tamasic is meant to attract ignorant people.
Those who attract, otherwise, because we give them the policies of religion which are sattvic, they reject it. No, you cannot do this. So better be engaged in this way. And they will be elevated. They will. Once someone asked a question to Prabhupada, is it better to be a meat-eating Vedic follower or vegetarian Christian? He said better to be meat-eating Vedic follower. Why? Because if you're within Vedic culture, gradually it's built in such a way that it will elevate you and liberate you if you just stick to it. So whichever position anyone is in, the Puranas will elevate. They will come to Rajasic, then Sattvic, or to Sattvic. So this is the reason we see, like there is argument, who's supreme? But it says here, Shiva Purana, he's supreme. Here it says in Brahma Purana, Brahma is supreme. There it says Vishnu, here it says Krishna. If we look at the Sanskrit of the shloka that I quoted, when Lord Shiva is narrating the Puranas, he narrates Bhagavat. When he says Bhagavat, he says Shubha Bhagavat, the auspicious Bhagavatam. He didn't say that for any other Purana. Bhagavatam is the highest of all the texts, of all the Purana, even among Sattvic. That's mentioned by Vyasadeva when he compiled it. Okay, so this is something to understand. The reason why everyone gives reference and everyone's worshipping, no, he's supreme, this is supreme. But the point here is that the classifications are there. Lord Shiva says to Parvati that yes, there are different references, but the Sattvic, if someone wants to become elevated and to become free from material energy, then they have to go to Sattvic Purana. That is the subject matter. But the subject matter of other Puranas is different. It's not about liberation so much. So it's better to follow Sattvic Puranas. And when there's a conflict between two Puranas, you look at their mode and take the higher mode and accept that as correct. And like with Srimad Bhagavatam, if it says something, but another Purana says another thing, then we'll accept the Bhagavatam. Okay, the topic is that who is supreme? Okay, we're looking at these principles to determine who is supreme. Okay, there's a definition of God given in Vishnu Puran, and this is spoken by Parashara Muni, who is Vyasadeva's father. He quotes a verse, he says this, that there are 6 things which are considered opulences or good, attractive, something to have. What is that? Wealth, strength, fame, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation. There is no one in this creation who has all 6 complete. They will have 1 or 2 or 4, maybe 5. But he went on to say that whoever has all is God. And then he analyzed and said that Krishna has all these opulences. Complete wealth. Universes come from him. Strength. He's supporting the whole creation. Fame. He's known all over the universe. Every planet he's known from the lowest to the highest. Beauty. According to Shastra, Krishna has 4 things which are above Vishnu. Krishna and Vishnu have everything same. 4 things which are there. Rupa Madhuri, Venu Madhuri, Bhakta Madhuri, Rama. Leela Madhuri, which means he has very attractive, beautiful flute playing skill. Features, face, pastimes, and devotees. So this beauty is so much that it's mentioned in Shastra that in Ras Leela even Lakshmi wanted to come, Vishnu's consort. But then Krishna and Vishnu are the same person, so there was no dosh in that. Knowledge. Krishna has complete knowledge. And renunciation. Bhishma Dev said, they glorified him, you are the greatest renunciant. he was supposed to be a brahmachari. He said the greatest is Krishna because he was in the rasa dance with the most attractive, beautiful women in the whole creation, but he walked away. This is what he spoke in. Okay, so we are analyzing who is supreme. That was one. Now, next thing, Bhagavad Gita. We could say Bhagavad Gita is the main text for Sanatana Dharma, what we call Hinduism today. If supposing, like I know it happened in Suriname, Fiji, and in Australia recently. Reports came in Suriname, the head of state was elected, was Hindu descent. Suriname is in South America. So she took the oath on Bhagavad Gita. Same with someone in Australia, was elected from Hindu background, and he took his oath for parliament in Sanskrit. You know how they do it on the Bible. He did it on the Gita. So, generally speaking, Bhagavad Gita is taken as the main text for Hinduism, Sanatana Dharma, accepted by a wide variety of people. So, Bhagavad Gita, accepted by all acharyas, Shankara and Vaishnava acharyas, they always in debating, they don't have the same philosophy. But Shankara, all Vaishnava acharyas, all different people, they accept Bhagavad Gita as summary of Vedic knowledge. So Bhagavad Gita says clearly in many places that Krishna is absolute. Okay, so Krishna says in Gita, whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of God and without doubting is the knower of everything, he therefore engages himself in full devotional service. There are many, many verses. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything is emanating from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. Okay, that's Bhagavad Gita. And there are many verses. Mata Pratam Nayam Kinchatasmi, so many. Bhagavad Gita. Now, Srimad Bhagavatam is considered the greatest Purana. It was written by Vyasadeva. Yeah, so there it's explained Sarva Vedanta Saram. It is the essence of Vedanta, and Bhasham Brahma Sutranam, it's commentary on Vedanta. Written by Vyasadeva after all the Vedas. Vyasadeva wrote all the Vedas. At the end, Narad Muni came to him, this is explained in Bhagavatam, and told him, you wrote all the Vedas, but you have to directly say who is supreme and give the knowledge without going round about it. So then he wrote Bhagavatam. Narad Muni was his guru, told him the order, this is what you have to do. So he wrote Bhagavatam last. And there he wrote, there is no need of any other scripture, just read Bhagavatam. For those who reach this level. Srimad Bhagavatam Mahamuni Krite Kim Vapare. Opening verse of Bhagavatam, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Translation, it's proclaiming son of Vasudeva, in other words Krishna, Vasudeva, as supreme. From the first line, first chapter, it starts. After that, it systematically explains it. Then they list 24 incarnations in chapter 3. After listing all, out of one, Krishna is there. Chapter 3. As the text goes on, in number 28, he says, these are all incarnations, but Krishna listed here is not incarnation, is the Supreme Personality of God. Ete Shamcha Kalapamsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, he says. In Yajurveda, it's mentioned Brahman Yo Devaki Putra. Brahman means the Supreme. Brahman is son of Devaki. Brahmano Devaki Putra, son of Devaki is the Supreme Brahman. Actually, there are many verses, but we cannot go through everything. Lord Brahma in his Brahma Samhita, Krishna, who is known as Govinda, Lord Brahma became self-realized. Therefore, he got the empowerment to do the secondary creation. After Durga Devi provided ingredients for creation, he then created the different bodies which souls could enter, and created the energies and how the world is now with the rain and sun. So when he got realized, he saw God, then he said, Ishwar Parama Krishna. Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is the Supreme Godhead. He has an eternal, blissful, spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no origin. He is the prime cause of all causes. Lord Shiva prays in Padma Purana this verse. where Parvati asked Shiva, this is close to that other verse we quoted, so many Puranas and the gunas that they're in. So she said, which is the best worship? And his answer was, Lord Shiva told Goddess Durga, my dear Devi, although the Vedas mention worship of demigods, the worship of Lord Vishnu is topmost. Aradhanam sarvesham, Vishnu aradhanam param, and is ultimately recommended. However, above the worship of Lord Vishnu is rendering of service to Vaishnavas who are related to Lord Vishnu. Higher than that is worship of his followers. So these are different personalities and different shastra. This goes on and on. Okay, and discussion on who is supreme and about God. But now, the concept of God. So he is pointing to Krishna. And the word Krishna comes from the word akarshan. What is akarshan in Sanskrit? Akarshan, even in Hindi, I think. Attracting. Attracting. So akarshan and the word Krishna means the one is attracting everyone. The all-attractive personality. So now, if we understand about God, okay, but now we have to understand in a deeper level. Okay, from Shastra, it's pointing to Krishna as supreme. But what is the form? Because some say God is everywhere. Others say God, Krishna is in the heart and speaking. Others speak about a personality. They are all correct. But they are levels of God realization. Within Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Maya tatamidam sarvam jagadavyakthamurtina. By in my unmanifested form, I am pervading the entire creation. So Krishna is pervading everything in an impersonal way. So when we say God is everywhere, it's correct. God is in the heart, that is the second, correct. But there is also a supreme person who you can speak to, talk to. So this is the explanation for that. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, there's a verse which says that learned transcendentalists who know the absolute truth call this non-dual substance Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan. Now if you look at that picture, Brahman means Krishna is a form pervading everything which we cannot see. And second is Paramatma. That is Krishna in a form which is inside everyone's heart and in the atom and in the planet. Three things. Then it's in the last on the right in the picture is showing a personality. So these are different forms of Krishna. But they are different realizations. Like if we have in some religions, they don't have a personality, but they speak about some energy. So they reach that level of realization. Others they'll meditate and on a certain personality within. That's their level. But highest level of God realization is understand there's a person whom I can speak and talk to. And who is relishing pastimes, Venus. Okay, so these three categories, the Brahman, external energy, Krishna's impersonal material energy, ubiquitous in English means pervading, is everywhere, it's present everywhere. Cosmic, unending creation, fractal source of the multiverse. Yeah, the Brahman in Brahma Samhita says that the universes are sitting in Brahman energy. Krishna's all pervading energy. Paramatma, known as Super Soul. Krishna is localized as one consciousness within every atom. The Paramatma is actually one person, personality, but in everyone at once. And an analogy is given like a mirror. If you break a mirror, pieces are lying on the ground. They're all reflecting the sun, but it's not a different sun. It's the same sun. So Krishna is inside all of us in the form of Paramatma, perceiving, hearing, knowing everything about us. The same one, not different. Then Bhagavan, the eternal, blissful, all-knowing consciousness of a soul's relation to the Supreme Person, pure spiritual energy pervading unlimited eternal universe. Basically, Krishna, Bhagavan, personality. So, these are three levels of God realization. And we can explain this analogy like this. Very commonly, Prabhupada explained that when there is sunlight, the light emitting from the sun, and if I can see that sunlight and I say this is the sun, it's correct. But it's not fully correct. To really know the sun, not just the rays, I have to know the sun planet. If I can say I know the sun planet is there, this is where the sun comes from, that's good. But higher than that is you enter into the sun planet, and there's a personality called Surya Narayan from who's emanating that light. So these are 3 levels of realization of the sun. Less, higher, highest. So similarly, God realization is like that. That we understand His energy, then His Paramatma, and finally Himself. So now, these are the results. If someone realizes, yeah.
Sun God who is emanating the sunlight or emanating from his chariot?
Understood is the sun god, Surya Narayan. Chariot. No, he is traveling on the chariot. You read chariot.
I saw one documentary about cosmic manifestation.
Based on who produced it? Was it Radha Mohan? Or
I just forgot it. Yeah, but
ISKCON?
yeah. I was shared from here.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like it's the chariot. When the chariot, we see like a globe, but it's the rotation of the chariot.
Okay, we look at that afterwards. Okay. Now, when one perceives God is everywhere, if you get that realization, then what happens? Eternality. When we leave our body, we don't take birth again. But we don't enter Goloka because we don't know Krishna. We can't go to Goloka. We'll be in the light. But when we perceive God is Paramatma in my heart, I realize God is here. That's higher than God is everywhere, impersonal. But that will either go to impersonal Brahman or to Bhagavan. I hope you're understanding. There's no destination for one who realizes Paramatma, because he'll either be devotional or impersonal. The third category, so one who realizes God is in here, he gets eternality and knowledge. Knowledge, I am a soul, eternal. Okay. When one realizes God is Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality with a spiritual body residing in a spiritual realm, he attains Satchit and eternality, knowledge, and happiness. Happiness can only come when we personally know Krishna as a form. It's form. So the Bhaktas realize Bhagavan. The Jnanis, they realize only Brahman. Yogis, Paramatma. So, question?
So, you to believe Vedas and God is the doers of everything,
Yeah. God is the doer of everything. Yeah.
correct?
No, we are doing according to desire. God is fulfilling according to our karma. But doing everything in the sense, yeah, He created everything. And when we are bound in the material body, He through guna impels us to do things according to our karma. Anger, greed, lust, sleep, hunger. In that way He does.
So the next thing is that nowadays is a big concept of we are the one who's damaging the environment.
Yeah.
So are we the one who's damaging it, or is it the
Is it Krishna?
yes? I mean, kind of is.
You see, we have free will. Surrender to God or not. Read Gita or not. So, trash the planet or not. We have free will. We decided to do that. We are doing it. Because we are given free will, brain, okay, what do you want to do with it? Okay, I want to take Bhagavad Gita and read it. Or no, I want to go and throw something like it's rubbish. It's our free will. It's us doing it. And Krishna then facilitates. You want to do that? Of course, we cannot do it independently. Krishna sanctions. We have this body, and so with his energy, everything is moving. But we are the one doing it. Yeah.
You said like in the starting that there's only one God, like Krishna, right? And then he's the maintainer and creator.
Yeah.
But then was it, I don't know, Chaitanya Chaitamrita, they say like Radha and Krishna, they're the one body, right?
Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikatir Radhini Shantanasana Ekatmana Abhibhuvipura Deha Bhedam Kathauthau. They were one, but they became two. Radha Krishna was one, but became two. He divided himself for enjoyment. That is beyond the scope of this presentation, but anyway, you ask him that God divided himself into Radha Krishnas for his enjoyment. Because if you're sitting alone, it's boring. If more people are there, it's fun.
So, what, Krishna is only God, or it's both Krishna and Radha?
Yeah, Radha Krishna, God and his energy.
Yeah, so that.
But they were two. They became one. If I say Krishna as God is correct. If I say Radha Krishna, we approach God through his energy. We approach Ram through Sita, Narayan through Lakshmi. We approach Krishna through Radha. So that comes the next stage, how to approach and bhakti. But the point is that Supreme Personality is Krishna. Yeah. From him Radha comes, and we also.
So Radha Krishna is the God.
Yes.
Krishna is God. Can you say Radha is God?
No. Radha is energy of God.
So when you say energy,
Yes.
so that's the feminine.
Yes, feminine, yeah, it is Prakriti.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
what I was
Purusha
so that
Prakriti.
is labeled as Prakriti.
Yes.
So Lord Krishna thinks, Radhama creates.
No, you see,
No, then it goes to the.
yeah, they expand.
Yeah, they
Lakshmi,
expand.
Narayan.
So Lakshmi, Narayan.
Yes.
Parvati.
Yeah, yeah.
And so.
Yeah.
So the energy is feminine.
Energy.
Yeah.
It's
So
Prakriti. Not feminine in this way, like man, woman,
yeah.
but subservient.
Yes.
And doing the order of Purusha.
So that's where the Prakriti comes in.
Yes. We are also Prakriti.
Yes.
We are Prakriti. Prakriti is made, matter and spirit. This is also Prakriti. Under Krishna's, and we also.
But the Prakriti is created by the feminine.
Purusha.
Lord Krishna thought.
Yes.
And energy came. So he looked at, he was saying yes.
So Ikshata, he glanced.
He glanced.
Yes.
Same thing Lord Shiva thought. And Ma Parvati created.
Yeah, correct. Purusha. Yeah, question, Richard.
Isvara is
Ishvara, direct translation means controller in Sanskrit.
I'm not sure Govinda, Isvara, Krishna, Vishnu. Are there appropriate times that each name is used?
Well, God is Krishna, and he likes it when we refer to him by names of his devotees. Yashodanandana, Nandanandana. He likes that. That comes now to the practice of bhakti. Krishna likes that. So then we use those names. And if you see Bhagavad Gita, the names that are used, it's very appropriate with the verse and the context. When Krishna said, Arjun tells Krishna that, oh Madhusudan, please tell me, what shall I do? Then what does Madhusudan kill your demon Madhu? So Prabhupada says that Arjun is telling Krishna, you kill the demon Madhu, now kill the demons in my heart, stopping me from doing my dharma. So different names according to the function. Many names of Krishna. Many names. It's according to context. Original name is Krishna. Jai, any more question? Hare Krishna. Good, you survived till session 5. Although some little late.
God willing, we'll survive all the.
Yeah, tomorrow is the last session, but it's not the end, it's the beginning. I'll tell you, I'll explain how. Beginning of your spiritual life. So tomorrow is this session of yoga and meditation. Okay, this is going basically what is meaning of yoga, why we need to do japa meditation, what is the most popular form of meditation in the world, how to practice attain spiritual consciousness. Now, normally what happens in this session, we introduce chanting whenever we go, all of you are chanting. So, I'll speak some points, but we're going to watch a 20-minute introduction to ISKCON, which is something new. I asked here, they've not shown it yet. So that will be very interesting. It was produced showing the practice of ISKCON. For some of you are new or not fully practicing, some are already. So, what is ISKCON in a nutshell? What we do, we chant, what is the goal? Everything is discussed in that short video. Okay? So, Hare Krishna. Thank you for coming. See you tomorrow.